Hello, it's me again, Lydia. This is my third video about donor-to-donor transplantation. And I promised you last time that I was going to give you the steps, according to Emory, that you need to follow in order to be a donor. Okay? There's 6 steps. The first one is that the donor should call the transplant center. If there's someone you're interested in being tested for, you call the hospital that they're registered with and request for the donor team. And they'll send you an email or a link for questions or whatnot that you have to complete and register online. That's how Emory does it. The second thing is there's a packet with questionnaires that will be sent to the donor. I actually got that packet from my transplant social worker, so I sent this to Christopher myself, so he didn't have to go through Emory to get that packet. We didn't have to wait on that. I sent that to him. He completed the packet and sent it in. The third is the blood kit. The blood kit would be sent to the donor, and they'll check his blood type and they'll cross-match his blood type to see if he matches with mine. That was supposed to be the third step. But instead, he ended up receiving the fourth step first, which is the 24-hour urine collection. In this, they're checking for diabetes as well as other illnesses and diseases and whatnot. But he actually has completed both of those. There's only 6 steps, so he's done those 4. So the 5th step is the donor must be brought in for a chest x-ray, EKG, and a scan of the abdomen to make sure that the kidney shape and structure is normal on him. Then you do the final tests, and then they schedule the transplant. That sounds quick, cut and dry, simple and easy, right? Not the case. Christopher received an email today saying, hey, your results are in, and you'll hear from a coordinator within 10 days. So why would it take 10 days for someone to tell him whether he matches with me or not when he submitted his labs over a week ago? Just wondering, just thinking, I know I'm a little impatient because it's so exciting and it's so close that we really can feel it, and we talk to each other every day and we're psyching each other out and just want to really find out, whether we match or not. But anyway, we don't know that. Okay, so those are the 6 steps through Emory if you want to give a kidney to someone. Now, in order to even go that far, there's 5 things that you have to be able to check off. One is you have to be over the age of 18. You have to be willing to donate, not forced or coerced. And they're going to ask that question. Third, are you physically fit? Are you physically fit to undergo surgery? What's your blood pressure looking like? Are you relatively healthy? 4, same thing, in good general health. They're going, they're just checking to make sure, even on site, do you look strong? Do you look fit? 5th, free from diabetes, cancer, kidney disease, and heart disease. If you have any of these or any of these you can't check off yourself, then you can't even consider to give someone a kidney. That's just what they go by. Now, there's some hospitals in the country that will do a transplant on an 18-year-old, but I think Georgia is not. You have to be at least 21 in the state of Georgia. So those are the steps that I promised you so far. And that's, like I said, that's just through Emory because that's where I'm registered with. But I did find out there's over 111,000 patients on the transplant list. 111,000. About 28,000 a year actually receive a transplant. And then the number continues to go up because there's more and more people having renal failure. I mean, that's just renal. Emory takes care of lung transplant, liver transplant, different ones in the same center where I go to the kidney. There are all the other transplant teams in there as well. But 111,000 kidney, that's significant. And then they're telling me that almost 65% are African American. That's puzzling to me. But anyway, just food for thought. But there's one thing I did want to touch on today on a personal note. And that's one thing my husband asked me to mention. Because he didn't want it to sound like it's doom and gloom. When you talk about this, it is near and dear to my heart because it is me, and it is it is near and dear to his heart as well. But one thing people always say when they see me, like, Lydia, you don't look sick, and you don't act sick. And I really want people to know that dialysis is my vice. That's my condition. But that's not who I am. Dialysis does not define the person that I am. It does not define the type of spirit I choose to have. That is not it. So when you hear some people like, oh, if they tell me I'm going to have to go on dialysis, I'm just going to die because I'm not going to do it. Well, if that's your mindset from the beginning, then you are absolutely right. But if you have the mindset that, you know what, I can do this. I can do this, and I can have a good attitude about it. I can do the best that I can no matter what my condition is. If it's diabetes, if it's cancer, if it's, stomach problems, whatever it is, I'm going to deal with it the best way I can. When I feel well, I'm going to enjoy myself. I'm going to try to present myself in a way that people don't see me and off the jump like, you poor thing. You so sick. You must be just struggling. I don't want people to look at me and feel like that about me. I want them to look at me and say, what? You on dialysis? And this is the only way they'll know. This right here, that's the only way they'll know. So I can't do anything about that right now, but I will when I can. But other than that, positive people around you makes the biggest difference as well. My husband will not allow me to mope and to feel sorry for myself no longer than maybe a day. Every now and then I have to have those mental health days when I just want to mope and woe is me. But that don't last very long. And if I start that attitude when I'm with my mom or my dad, they will nip it in the bud quick. What's your problem? What's wrong with you today? I am still blessed regardless. Because once upon a time, if you had kidney failure, you would just die. There was no treatment. There was no dialysis. And then when there was dialysis, it was a long time before we could participate in a dialysis program. So in itself, I can see the blessing in it. I can see God's grace in it. So when I sing that song about God's grace, I'm singing it from experience. I'm singing it from my heart because I know over the years, I've been dealing with this since I was 22 years old. So I know God's grace has sustained me, has kept me, has uplifted me, has kept me positive when I didn't feel like being positive, has kept positive people around me. My sister Sharon, all my aunties, all my cousins, people that love on me consistently, that keep my mind off of the sorrow of this whole experience and keep my mind on the positive side of it all. And I just want to push that out to you. If you get that sentence that renal failure is in your future, don't succumb to that. Don't give in to that. That's the devil. Don't let him control your mind and your thoughts and your feelings and your emotions. That's what he wants to do. But that's not what we have to do. That's not who we are. We're bigger than that. And our King is bigger than that. He can bring us through anything and everything. Just stay positive, stay uplifted. And people around us, that support system, we need you. We need you to continue to love on us and to lift us and to encourage us. And that's all. That's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to put that out there that even though I'm covering this transplant process and some of it's going to be negative because it is, I don't want you to think that I'm negative or I feel some kind of way about it because I'm going to do my due diligence. I'm going to do my homework. I'm going to ask the tough questions and I'm going to continue to make those phone calls. And if they want to stop hearing from me, give me my transplant. Thank you. Love you guys. Be blessed.